I hope you guys are doing well, and just want to thank you for taking time to watch my second video. Um, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the first one. I just hope it was a, a good outline of what I'm doing here, just the reasons of why I'm making these videos. So um, yeah, I had the day off this week, so I figured I'd take advantage of that and get going on my videos. So and, and I'm excited. I'm excited to now start going into depth about my mission life. To talk about those details and just discuss what God had, how God has been working in me. So yeah, I was debating on which topics I should talk about first. If I should go in like chronological order or like skip around on different topics. But I figured at least for my second video, I should at least talk about the reasons why my family and I moved to Mexico, the place that we went to, and then just talk about those emotions and feelings I had prior to moving, and then I also wanted to talk about my first experience at CV. I there's a lot that happened inside of me during that week, so I figured it would be important to discuss that too. So yeah, so to start things off, um, the place that we moved to is located in northern Mexico, in a town called Magdalena. It's about 60 miles south from Arizona, so it's actually pretty close to the states. And the place that we lived at is called Casa Vida y Esperanza, and that means House of Life and Hope. It's a children's home that was established by my church in the early 2000s, so probably about 16, 17 years. And what it is, it's a place where these kids are taken to by the government because their parents or grandparents or aunts and uncles were not adequate to take care of them. And there's a lot of reasons that go into that. It could be drugs and alcohol, it could be abuse, or just neglect in general. And because I was at such a young age going down there, I wasn't told what these kids went through, and I don't know all the details. Obviously, just being there, I did learn some things, and I heard some things, but yeah, I mean these kids went through serious trauma at such a young age, 2, 3, or 4 years old, and it's not easy to overcome that. It could be trauma that they have to work through the rest of their lives. Um, but so because of that, the mission of CV, well, yeah, the mission of CV is to take these kids in and to show them that there's hope. There's there's hope to overcome those traumatic experiences. There's hope to not go back into that. To not to not relive that. Um, and obviously that hope is from Jesus. So just introducing introducing them to God and to Jesus' blood, and just to guide them on a path that does lead to Him. That does lead to salvation and eternal life. That's the primary mission of CV. But the way CV is set up is by 18, these kids have to move out. So that could mean going back to their families, or just being on their own. So we do want to give them the necessary life skills, so then they can support themselves, so then they don't just fall back into that sin, into that evil that they were raised up in. Obviously, that's not an easy thing to do. It's very easy just to go back into that, but just showing them that we're here to support them and to help them, and just to give them those tools that they need. But yeah, and then it's not your typical children's home. It's not like just one big building where all these kids live in. No, it's there's different houses. So like, for example, if a group of siblings came in, they would most likely go to one house, and then a missionary couple or a single would take care of those kids. So it's kind of like a family setting where you have the mom and dad and then the kids. So yeah, it's not your average orphanage, and some of these kids are orphans, and some of them do still have a mom or a dad. So yeah, that's just kind of what CVE looks like. So then moving down there, during that time, CVE was looking for a person or a couple to fill a role of operations management. And what that meant was basically be in charge of like the physical things, the physical side of CVE. So you got like, the maintenance, the work teams, construction, or just your daily work task. So someone had approached my dad about it, and said, like, you would be a good fit for this. You should start praying about it. So obviously, we did move down there. So yeah, we moved down there to fill that role. It wasn't to take care of kids. It was to specifically do that. And so because of that, I think that's why I didn't feel called to go down there. It was more because my parents were doing it to fill the role. That's what they were going to do, and I was just their son who had to tag along. So like looking back, I know God was working in each of my family's hearts, and was showing them that this was the thing to do, and that He was opening doors for us. But like, I would still, even now, I would still say that I personally did not feel called to go to Mexico. So yeah, so because of that, I definitely, there's definitely different struggles that I had to deal with compared to my family. So yeah, so like I talked about in my last video, during my testimony, my family started talking about this in August 2014, and then we moved September 2015. No, sorry, August 2013, and then we moved September 2014. So yeah, there's a year there of preparation, and and like I mentioned, those first few months, so August through November or December, I was pretty numb to those feelings of moving away. I think I chose to to ignore that, to ignore the just the idea of actually moving. I chose to focus on things that were happening in my life at that time, because that's just what was happening. So why not focus on that instead of focusing on what was about to come in the future? But like I do remember not looking forward to the family meetings. So obviously deep down there was some emotions of not wanting to move. There was some emotions of confusion and of anger and just bitterness toward it. But I didn't open up. I I literally said, um, I I literally said that I'm okay with moving and I'll be okay. That's something that I regret. It's something that I wish I didn't do. And if I was gonna open up to somebody, then it definitely should have been to my parents. So yeah, so it wasn't until February, when I went on a mission trip to CVE, that that all these feelings and emotions started to surface. And so yeah, I'll go into a little more detail about that. So I went on a mission trip with my church, and it was going to be my first time going down there. And part of me was excited. I was excited to finally see what CV was like. Just to see what campus looked like. I had no idea. I had these thoughts, these images in my mind, but I just didn't know. So like I was excited, or just happy to finally go down there and just to see, to experience what it's like. Um, but I wouldn't say I was like crazy excited. No, just a little bit excited. But so yeah, so we got down there on Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, and it only took 2 days, not even 2 full days, to to feel, to I don't know, to feel and to express bitterness and anger. Um, and what happened was, on Monday night, they had a prayer meeting, and basically they just go and sing songs, and then you can pray if you want to. But I chose not to. I don't think I went. No, what happened was I did go and sing, but I chose not to pray. So I just went back to the dorms. But on my way back, I remember just crying and yelling at God. Um, it was the first time I had actually expressed with words how I was feeling, even though it was just toward God. It was the first time I'd ever done that, and it was definitely yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff inside me that just burst out, and I was holding a lot of those emotions in. And that was when when I finally let go of them. Um, so yeah, I remember just crying, just walking back to the dorms, just crying and yelling. I'm not sure if anybody saw me. Hopefully not, but um, so yeah, and so that was just only a day after being there. It's like I could tell that wow, I'm gonna hate this. I really do not want to move here. I really don't want to leave home. Um, so yeah, just that whole week, um, things started definitely to open my eyes and to what reality was going to be like, in who I'm going to be hanging out with, and where I'm going to live, and just what kind of activities I'm going to do. But I can say, because I was on a work team, I think I chose to focus more on the work part than on the relationships part. And just because I was in such resentment, um, yeah, I just wanted to focus on work, and that's it. And that's what I did. Again, that's just something that I wish I didn't do. But overall, um, I'm definitely glad that I got to experience that. If I would have never, if I would never have gone down there before we moved, then moving there would have been a lot harder. So yeah, just to have some idea of what life was going to be like, even though I still had no idea what life was going to be like. I just had a taste of it. So I can say that definitely helped. Um, but yeah, so it was at the end of that week. That was when we told the news that we were moving down there. So people from church started to know. People in the community started to know. People from my friends from my school started to find out. So yeah, and so I I don't remember if I told my friends that. I'm pretty sure I probably told some people, but I just remember people coming up to me at school and be like, hey, I heard you're moving to Mexico. Like, is that true? Like, why are you doing that? Like, that's really weird. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And I remember just being like, yeah, I am moving to Mexico, and it doesn't make sense to me either, and I don't know why I'm doing that. And that was really hard. It was because I couldn't even tell myself why I was moving, why I was going to move, and so trying to explain to someone else, yeah, that was really hard to do, and there was just a lot of confused people, um, and probably just people thought that I was just weird for doing that, and just kind of dumb for doing that. Um, so yeah, so that started to happen. Those the rest of the school year, basically from February until June. That was when we started going to counseling, and when things definitely started to become more serious, and a lot more thorough, and a meeting with specific people, and talking about specific things, and just having that preparation. But even at counseling, I really I really hated going to counseling. Like I just I despised it, and um, I would say it was definitely, even though I had that kind of attitude, I definitely did learn some stuff there. I they told me some stuff that was good to know, um, of what the realities of the mission field was like. And obviously, I was going as a missionary kid. There's a big difference between a missionary and a missionary kid, because I'm just going down there to live my life. I'm not going down there because I'm gonna fill a role, or I have a specific job to do. No, I'm just there because my family's there. Just living my life there. So yeah, and I feel like because of that, my experiences are a lot different than even to my parents, because they had a job to do. I didn't. Just had to live my life in a different country. So yeah, and I'll definitely touch on that more in my future videos. But so yeah, just a lot of resentment, a lot of I definitely hardened my heart and just put up that wall with the counselors, with my family, and just something I definitely regret. You know, and something that I would change if I could, you know, and something I would, if I saw someone going through the same thing, it's, you know, I would be able to tell them that, like, hey, it's worth opening up, you know, it's worth it in the long run. As much as you hate it now, it's, you know, it's definitely worth it. It's the best option for you. But so yeah, I just kind of wish someone told me that during that time, and I wish someone told me how hard it was going to be, so then I could prepare more. Um, but yeah, I mean, and we were kind of the first family to go through this counseling, so we were kind of like the guinea pigs. So even the counselors didn't know everything to expect, and I didn't want to speak for them, but yeah, as far as I understand. Um, so yeah, and again, I just wish I had more details. I wish I would have kept a diary, so that I can, you know, look back and and share that with you guys. But just in general, just I don't know, just a lot of anger, and I would definitely say it's more toward God, and you know, I definitely started to question, you know, his reasoning, his will for my life. You know, I remember thinking this, if I was gonna remember something, this would be it. I remember thinking that my life was gonna be ruined because I didn't we didn't have a timeline of how long we were gonna be there. It was indefinite, and that scared me. You know, like, was I gonna be there all the way through high school, all the way through college? I didn't know. And that really scared me. And I thought, if I am there for that long, then my life is ruined. You know, like, I can't accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. But you know, God definitely had better things for me to accomplish than what I would have accomplished here. Um, so yeah, and I just had this thought, and I lost it. Shoot. Um, oh yeah. So then, but so like I mentioned in my testimony, it was like in May, late April, where I started to have this thought of, like, well, if I gave my life to God, then going down there will not be as painful, you know. Um, and then obviously, and then like I said, I started repenting in June, but I definitely didn't have the right motives. Um, I definitely didn't desire to have God 100% in control of my life. I definitely didn't surrender all my heart to Him, and it was more of like using God in a way of, I gave my life to, I'm giving my life to you, so now you have to help me, and you will help me. That's kind of how I thought, and I think that's why I struggled spiritually those next 3 years, because I hadn't truly surrendered everything to Him, or I wasn't wanting to surrender everything to Him. But yeah, like I said, but like I'll go into more detail later on. yeah, that's just see where I'm at. 24 minutes, 25 minutes. Yeah. So that's just as much depth as I want to get into this. That's really all I can remember. I mean, it was eight years ago, so I don't have the best memory. But that's just kind of what it was like for the most part. Just during that first year, I was numb to the pain. I was numb to my emotions. I chose not to respond to it. I chose to put up that wall, and yeah, as much even though God was working on me, I chose to not let Him work more in me, and yeah, just even though that's part of my life, that's in the past. I do have some regrets, but like I said in my first video, looking back in the past, I can learn, and I can use those experiences to help me make better choices in the future, or to help me with someone else, to help me encourage someone else who might be doing the same thing as me, as I was, or just going through the same struggle that I was. So yeah, that's just what that's just what it was like for me, that year of preparation. And I'm sure by tomorrow I'm like, oh, I should have said this, but but yeah, as far as that's what I came up with in my notes. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And for my next video, I'll probably, I think I will go in chronological order. So maybe just focus on that first year of being down there. What it was like, and yeah, I'll definitely have to do some more thinking, some more thinking about that, and try to remember all the details. So yeah, so thanks for watching, guys, and hope you guys stay tuned for the next one, and please share this video with anybody that you might know. So have a great day.